Hey there guys, I am the 6's Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So in addition to the leaks of the Chaos Codex that have started to show up all around the internet, Warcom are of course still showing off some of the upcoming rules and abilities in their daily articles, and they showed off one the other day that was actually in the leaks that we saw over the weekend, but I wanted to take a look at it anyway, just because it's a really quite cool and fun ability, and I do think that it could have some potential hints at what changes we may see in the inevitable Marine 2.0 Codex. And so this is the Chaos Let the Galaxy Burn rule, which is what I initially thought gave them their exploding 6's, their doctrine ability, and it does do that, but that isn't the only thing it gives. First and foremost, Let the Galaxy Burn means that if you are shooting a flame weapon and you have this rule, you get +2 to the number of attacks. So of course for most flamers, this will be d6 +2 auto hits. Now on your regular boring old flamers, that's kind of meh. I mean, it's a nice bonus, but it's hardly the most exciting rule. Flamers aren't exactly known for being the most powerful weapons. However, as Chaos, you do have some pretty scary flamers in the form of the Bale Flamer, which is on your Helldrakes and your Lord's Discordant. And getting an extra 2 hits from those guns, so a minimum of 3, maximum of 8 hits, is actually a really nice little boost to their damage output. And with the gun being 2 damage, as well as having not terrible AP, that can actually really help you to kill off that extra Marine when you are shooting into a squad that's in cover or holding an objective. So whilst I don't think this is the most amazing part of the rule, it is worth remembering, especially on your Bale Flamers. The big takeaway from Let the Galaxy Burn though is of course the Doctrine style ability that it unlocks, and for Chaos this is Wanton Destruction, Wanton Massacre and Wanton Slaughter. You start in Destruction and this gives your heavy, rapid fire and grenade weapons exploding 6's. And then in turn 2 you switch to Massacre, which you can stay in for turns 2 or 3, or switch again to Slaughter in turn 3 like Marines can do with their Assault Doctrine. Massacre gives your rapid fire, assault and pistol weapons debuff, and Slaughter obviously affects your assault, pistol and melee weapons. It is genuinely a really nice buff to have. It's a tad swingier than the Marine's bonus AP, which is just fairly static and easy to account for, but this one is a lot more fun in my opinion, and on certain units, things like your Obliterators or your Havocs with their high rate of fire or their high strength weaponry, that can add up to a lot more damage over the course of the game. But I think the big thing for me, and where I do think that this Chaos version is much better than the Marine Doctrines, is that you may have noticed, but this affects 3 weapon types each round rather than just 2. So as a comparison, the Space Marine Devastator Doctrine just affects heavy and grenade weapons, whereas the Chaos version also buffs your rapid fire weapons as well, so you can get buffs to your rapid fire weapons straight from the get-go, straight from turn 1. You could be getting exploding 6's on things like your bolters. And then in subsequent turns, the Chaos version buffs your pistols from turn 2 onwards, so you can get a lot more longevity to your bonuses and keep them around and keep them buffing as much of your army as possible for a lot longer than the Space Marines can. And I mean, essentially you can keep exploding 6's on your rapid fire guns if you want, all the way from turn 1 to the end of turn 3, whilst Marines only get it turns 2 and 3. So there is a lot to be said, in my opinion, for adding that 3rd weapon type to each section, and I do, if I'm being honest, expect Marines to get a similar boost to their doctrines when they do get their Codex 2.0 to bring them in line, because this makes the entire rule so much more fun and flavorful and potentially a lot more powerful. But I just like the fact that you don't feel quite so penalized or restricted if a certain doctrine is sort of better for your army or the way you're playing the game. You don't feel quite so restricted in terms of how you move through them, because chances are you will get bonuses to most of your guns in your army for at least a good 2 or 3 turns throughout the game. So I have to say, all in all, I am a big fan of this. I think it's pretty much in every way better than the Space Marine Doctrines. It's more fun. Exploding 6's to me is just a lot more enjoyable than just getting a flat extra AP. The Flamer bonus is a nice cherry on top, and just the fact that it affects more of your weapons for longer throughout the game is, in my opinion, just going to make it much more enjoyable to use and much more flexible and powerful on the tabletop. So I really hope that the Space Marines, the Loyalist Space Marines, do get some kind of similar version. But for what this is, I think this is a great army-wide rule for Chaos, and I can imagine players having a lot of fun kind of figuring out what weapons to get the most benefit out of it for their specific legion. But as always, what do you make of this new Let the Galaxy Burn rule? Do you prefer it to the Marine version? And also, do you think Marines will get their own boosted version of it when they do get their new codex? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me. But until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.